We are rolling. She's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Persuade us.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Angelica.
Hi Angelica.
Okay. Does anybody here have 8 a.m. classes? Okay, yeah, me too. I have 8 a.m. classes 4 out of 5 days of the week. And my friends always ask me, like, how do you go to them on time? I can't even make my 11 a.m.s. And the answer is simple. It's because I actually get enough sleep. So today I'd like to persuade you guys to do the same and try to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. Maybe not every night, but like at least on a somewhat regular basis. I'll give you 2 reasons why you should get enough sleep and 3 actions that you can take to, well, get enough sleep. And I think that this is relevant for all of us because as college kids, sleep is pretty valuable and we don't always get enough of it. And when you do get enough of it, you'll just feel so awesome. So, the first reason that I think that you should get enough sleep is because, obviously, when you don't get enough sleep, it's hard to focus in class. According to a paper written by Ronald Hersher and some other people I forgot the name of, called Causes and Symptoms of Sleepiness in College Students, over 50% of college students report daytime drowsiness. Basically that they find it really hard to concentrate during the day. And I know this firsthand because I was going to a lecture one day and I had stayed up and I really tried to pay attention, but I just found that I couldn't. And when I looked at the notes that I'd taken that day, okay, so I'd copied down some lines twice. I had like written over lines that I had already wrote. Like my pencil trailed randomly off the page in the middle of a letter. Obviously, I didn't learn anything that day. So when you get enough sleep, you'll actually be able to go to class and focus and, learn something, which is kind of what we're here to do. So the second reason that I think that everybody should get enough sleep is because then when you need to stay up all night, you'll be able to. I kind of think of it as like a car. If you're always running on low, 5 to 6 hours of sleep, when you need to stay up, you're probably going to crash or, burn out. On the other hand, if you're regularly filling up and getting 7, 8 hours of sleep, it'll be okay. You can take that spontaneous road trip to San Diego or that all-night movie marathon with your friends, and you won't fall asleep at the best part. So, now I'd like to share 3 actions that you can take to get more sleep. So, the first one is to have a nice, sleeping environment. I try to avoid electronics for 5 to 10 minutes before I go to sleep, just because I find that it's really hard for me to transition from a really bright white screen to the darkness of my room. The second action that you can take is to just go to sleep. How many times have you guys had a conversation where you're like, oh, I'm so tired, I went to sleep at 3, and then your friend tells you, why, were you doing homework? And you're just like, no, I wasn't even doing anything. It happens. You're on YouTube, one video leads to the next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. And you tell yourself, tomorrow I'll get enough sleep. But of course you don't, and the same thing happens, and the same thing happens the next night, and the next night. There comes a point where you just need to tell yourself, enough, and go to sleep. If you find yourself done with homework and about to randomly browse the internet or do something not really that important, just go to sleep. Trust me, in the morning you'll feel so much better having those 2 extra hours of sleep than 2 hours of cat videos. So the third thing that you can do is to give yourself kind of a soft bedtime. And by that I mean figure out around when you need to go to sleep in order to get 8 hours and try to stick with it. So for me, since I wake up at 7, I try to go to sleep at around 11. I mean, I don't follow this really strictly all the time. Of course not. But just in general, it makes it easier for me to plan my schedule. And I know that sometimes I feel like I'm missing out because, my friends are still awake. And early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, and socially dead. It's kind of true. But at the same time, I know that my friends will be there tomorrow. I can hang out with them during the day. I can hang out with them during the weekend. It's really important for me to go to sleep. If you follow these 3 actions and you have enough sleep, you'll just feel so amazing. You'll wake up every day feeling refreshed, In high school, I didn't get enough sleep. I actually am getting way more sleep now than I did in high school. And a lot of the times in high school, I would wake up feeling tired. Like, I would wake up tired. And now that I'm actually waking up feeling refreshed and energized, I wonder how I ever did it before. It's truly a really big difference. So in summary, I've shared with you 2 reasons why you should get 8 hours of sleep and 3 actions that you can take. There should be no doubt in this room that I think sleeping is really, really important. And, you know, maybe I just like sleeping, but who doesn't? I think it's kind of a running joke in college that 8 a.m. classes are death. But if you get enough sleep, you'll find that they actually aren't that bad. It's kind of like getting a cavity done instead of a root canal. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. 5:38.
Oh, wow.
You had up to 7, so.
Yeah, when I practiced earlier, it was like a lot longer. I'm like, did I forget something?
No?
Okay.
Let's start over here today. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lamont.
Hi, Damon.
I like. Me? Oh, okay. All right. I liked your speech. I liked how you basically followed the prompts very well, and every point was very clear because you did that. So I like that.
Okay, improvement.
Hi, I'm Rachel Leah.
Hi, Rachel Leah.
I think you did a really nice job. Like Mom said, you followed the prompt and it was really colloquial, and I liked the jokes. If you had to improve, it's a tough one. You did a really nice job. Maybe you could vary your pace a little bit, you could vary your intonations a bit, but honestly, and everything was really there. I would just feel like if you wanted to add a little more to it, and maybe have a little more, like, it would give it a little more pizzazz, but honestly, you did really good stuff.
Okay, good. Angelica, it was nice to see your face. You have a pretty face, and have all your facial expressions come through. That was good. I know it was painful for you to put your hair out of your face, but you'll live. You started with a rhetorical question, but one that was pertinent to everybody, and so that was good. And you tied back to that, so you show you own the bookend concept, and that was good. Your preview was fine. Maybe you could have also said, I'm going to give you some benefits too, but a small point. I thought you sold it well to the audience, made it significant to them, so that was well done. One thing, and I want you all to note this, when citing your evidence, give the date. Put the date in. Write it in right now, folks, if you don't have the date in your prompt. Put the date in because that gives it credibility, right? It makes it relevant and pertinent. And I think there's just a recent study done by National Geographic. They did a 2-hour special, and it was really damning. They came up with 8 hours of sleep and found if you don't get it, you're going to get fat, get Alzheimer's, get cancer, die early. They found a lot of, real dramatic stuff. So it was good stuff. And one of the reasons I'm raising that is I think what could have been added to this speech that would have given it a little more credibility was a second piece of evidence, your second point, not just one piece of evidence. I did like the way you combined the evidence then with your anecdotal story about how it worked for you, and that was good. Your second reason where you said 8 hours sleep, I don't have any scientific proof, I think that was a little, I wish you had some. It's out there, so you could have had it. And I liked your analogy about the car. That was good. There's good evidence, and you didn't have it, but you're intuitively right about avoiding electronics. There's something about the white light that stimulates our brain and keeps us awake longer, so that was good. Your actions were all good. Your performance of these actions to bring the emotions back in was good. The summary, the conclusion, and tie back were all fine. It was just a little short. You said posture, move 3 times, stay within the time limit, have more enthusiasm. How did all that go?
I know that this time before I started my speech, I tried to stand up really straight, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I kept more of a straight back than starting like that kind of.
Okay, so you noticed that from the
Yeah.
previous performances. Okay, good.
I think I moved 3 times. For pacing, yeah, when I timed it, when I practiced earlier, it was actually much longer. I could feel myself speaking really quickly, so that's probably why it was so short. There was one part where I actually forgot what I was gonna say, so I tacked it on at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just because I was kind of nervous.
Yeah.
As for enthusiasm, yeah, I think my voice was a little more a little louder and energetic today. Because normally when I speak, I feel like I'm pretty contained and mellow. So this time I tried to be more outgoing.
Okay, let me just run through the sticky dimensions of your speech for just a moment and ask you a couple of questions. I thought your message was simple enough. Get 8 hours of sleep. It wasn't complex. It wasn't get 4 now, 3 later, get 12 at the weekend and catch up later and all that stuff. So, it was simple. What I wondered about, what was unexpected that you put in here that either grabbed our attention or held our attention? What did you have an unexpected element in here that you designed into this speech?
I don't think that there was anything too unexpected.
Yeah.
As for one of my reasons, I was considering putting in this really, really surprising fact, but then I realized that explaining and giving all the background would take too long, so I didn't include that. So yeah, I think it lacked something really, really shocking or unexpected.
Okay. Okay, there's good stories about sleep deprivation and driving. There's driving drunk.
I was actually about to include that one, but I thought it would take too long.
Yeah, okay. So unexpected is one. I think that it was sufficiently concrete. It wasn't, too abstract in any area or things. I think the credibility could have been enhanced by telling us a little bit more about the authors, giving them credibility to scholars in sleep deprivation that Stanford told us in 2014 would have enhanced the credibility of your argument from authority, okay? And you had good stories. So overall, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, just to be fair, that will bring us to Miriam. Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
How you doing? That's good. Get that evil hair out of your face. Good.
Oh, okay, I'm good
Yeah,
enough.
get that bungee cord on. Good. You can zoom in a little on her, yeah. One more click. Yeah. Okay. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
I want you to think about 91,000 people, however you want. I want you to think about them in the line, or at a concert, or simply in a room. So I'm going to give you a second to think about 91,000 people right now. I think that was enough time for you to think about it. Now, I want you to think about this. According to the Encyclopedia of Global Health, said in 2008, 91,000 people are currently waiting for a donor for a kidney or for any other organ. And every month, 4,000 people are added to this list. Can you believe that? 91,000 people, which you imagined just a second ago, are currently waiting for someone to donate their organs. That is why I am here to persuade you on becoming a donor. And I know you are interested in knowing about this. And although you haven't really thought about it, I know that one day or you can relate to this because you might know someone who probably received an organ, or you might, like your family or someone that you know really closely might be in need of receiving any type of organ. I will tell you 2 reasons of why you should become a donor, and I will give you 3 specific actions that you can take in order for you to become a donor. Now, my first reason is because you should be a donor is because you could possibly save someone's mom, someone's dad, or someone's sibling. And I know this is very close to everyone because we all love people in this life, and just knowing that they have a chance to live further, that's like a very big deal. So my evidence regarding this statement which I just made is a personal story, and my personal story deals with my mom. And I clearly remember 3 years ago I was coming back from school, and I had just arrived at the door, and I was thinking that that day my mom had to go to dialysis, and I knew that she was probably going to be drained and extremely tired because she was connected around 4 hours every other day to a machine, and that's very tiring, as crazy as it sounds. And when I came in, I opened the door and my mom had this really huge smile, and at first I was like, did my report card just come in? Did I really do that well? Or was my mom really excited to give me some tacos that she had made? I don't know what it was, but eventually it was actually something much more exciting. When I went up to her, she told me that she had finally received that call after 7 or 8 long years that there was a kidney waiting for her. And at first I couldn't believe it. I was so ecstatic, and at the same time I didn't know how to react. I feel like she didn't even believe it herself. It was something that she didn't necessarily grasp at the moment, but she was really, really excited, and I couldn't help but like tear about this, of course. And I am telling you this because this is evidence that because of one person that I might never know, that they decided to become a donor, my mom was able to live longer, and this is very important, and I think it's something that anyone can relate here. Now, my second reason of why you should become a donor is because in the end, you really don't take anything. When you die, you're not going to take anything with you. So you might as well make the best out of it. And I know a lot of people are scared about how is my body going to be treated when I die, or is my information going to be shared with other people, or something dealing with their medical insurance, because I know I've heard about this, that they're worried about signing up to be a donor and then something happening with their insurance. But according to, I think it's a professor from Ucla University, he wrote that the hospital respects the donor's wishes, so even if you do not want to donate, the hospital will respect your wishes. But of course, I am here standing in front of you to encourage you to become a donor. And that is why I also want to verify to you that according to the Encyclopedia of Global Health, that whenever they take out an organ, they do it with a lot of care. They don't, just because, of course, you're going to be dead, but just because you're dead, they're not going to treat you as someone who's unimportant. They do it with a lot of care. They do it as if it were an operation. So it's something very delicate. And in the end, you do, your body gets closed up. So they treat you like a real normal person. And this is more evidence to show you that that it's important to become a donor and that it's not something scary. Now, I will give you 3 actions that you can take and have to become a donor. The first one is to be a healthy person. And I'm not saying this because just simply for the matter of becoming a donor. This is also for your own benefit. You can live a healthier lifestyle by eating well, exercising, and not necessarily drinking or smoking or doing any drugs. And this will benefit you because you will live a longer life. And the second action that you can do is actually talking to other people about it. You can be an active person and actually tell them that this is an important matter that could potentially affect you one day. And my third and last reason is doing it yourself, and that includes you going to the DMV and simply checking a single box. All you have to do is check a box that says, yes, I want to be a donor. And what you can do is you can call up your closest DMV and you can make an appointment and either update your information, or you can renew your driver's license or your California ID and change that one box that you could possibly become a donor. In summary, I have told you 2 reasons and 3 actions that you can take in order to become a donor. And there should be no doubt in this room that becoming a donor is not really that hard, and it can eventually influence a lot of people. I want to let you know that if you do donate, you will potentially be saving 30 people. And this is very important. And now I want you to think about those 91,000 people, and I want you to think that they should have a second chance to live. And of course, I want you to think about those 91,000 people, and I want you to think of one of them as you, and how you would benefit from one person simply checking that box at the DMV office. Thank you.
713.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Oh, yeah?
Hi, Lauren. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside.
I really liked how personal your speech was. It's your story, your first reason, and you resonated with a lot of people, and you made it very funny.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
I really liked your speech as well, and I thought that your stories were very powerful. If I was taught for criticism, I would say that the idea of having everyone imagine 91,000 people, that's a lot of people, and it's kind of hard to mentally get that picture. I've never seen that many people all at once. So I think that kind of for your opening and your bookend, to maybe if you use something that we could relate to a little more, over twice the size of UCLA population or something.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, let's start with that. Thank you, Thomas. Let's start with that. Or imagine all the people. How much does the Rose Bowl hold? About 100,000. Imagine all the people in the Rose Bowl. Okay, or all the people in Giant Stadium, and then we have a vivid picture, a concrete picture. We've seen that in our heads, right? Because 91,000, what do? I line them up. It was all kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Miriam, I liked your speech. It was good. You cited some dates, but not all of them. So, dates, folks, dates. Your setup was excellent. Your first reason was personal example, your mother, and you told the story beautifully, and you laid it out as a good story. She was going to be tired, but yet she was happy. The only trivial thing I would add to the story was how did it come out? Did she get the transplant? Did she live happily ever after? Blah, 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 blah. Also, I'd like to see you more purposefully move 3 times. You were pretty much stuck there in the center, and so that will relax you and make you a more effective speaker. On your second reason, you didn't give the year of Professor Grant Gillette's quote. It was 2013, and that would have helped enhance the credibility of your argument from authority. And I think that I like the way you talked about the dignity of how a body is used. I had one young man say to a person speaking that he was going to need his body in heaven, which is why he wasn't going to donate. So there's one thing you can't overcome, huh? On your proposed actions, be healthy, spread the word, and check the box. They were all good. I don't know, be healthy, you know. On the summary was good. Again, I agree with Thomas on the 91,000. Your goal is to control your emotion, move around the room 3 times, and not stumble. How to go?
I think it went okay. I could have moved, but I totally forgot about it. I don't know why I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I controlled my emotions, and I was in the time element. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When you say I controlled my emotions, we want to have emotions in our presentation. That's one of our sticky points. So
Yeah.
why did you think you were going to cry when you talked about your mother, or what was the dealio?
Last time I did my speech, I almost cried. Like, I was on the verge of crying, so I didn't want to get to that point again. But
That's
I feel
okay. You walk the razor's edge, you get close to it, we can feel it. That's good.
Right.
Yeah. I think the message that you had was pretty simple and straightforward. Donate your organs and give them people. There's a need, and you establish a pretty strong case for your need, and many people need them, and there's a growing need every day. So that was good. What was unexpected?
Well, I thought it was unexpected the fact that I said 91,000 people, because that's a lot of people, but
Okay.
I guess,
Maybe.
yeah.
But you want to be consciously trying to design unexpected things into your speech to control the interest level of your audience, and just grab them and hold them, which is why we have the unexpected and the stickiness there. Or create a knowledge gap which you fill is the other way you can deal with the unexpected. The other thing I would just... I've already said it, but don't hesitate to put more emotions into the presentation. I thought the storytelling was excellent, though. And just more dates on your statistics. But overall, you did a nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, that will bring us to... That was Miriam. Let's hear from Tessa. Good old Tessa. Good old Tessa. Hi, Tessa. How you doing? That's good. Perfect. Okay, she's doing something. Managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Tess.
Hi, Tess.
Okay. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Siddhartha Gautama. If our mind shapes who we are, we better be taking pretty good care of it. But I think people, and especially people our age, are so consumed by their busy everyday lives that they sort of forget to devote any time to keeping up with their mental hygiene. I know that a lot of times I feel like I have so much on my plate and so many things going on in my life that I'm worrying about that I don't necessarily take the time to step back and make sure that I'm okay. Today I want to persuade all of you to treat your minds with tender, loving care. I'll give you 2 reasons along with 3 actions that you can take, along with benefits that will follow if you decide to accept my proposal of taking care of your mind. I think that talking about mental hygiene isn't generally spoken about, but I think it's something that we can all benefit from talking about, because if we're honest with ourselves, we're all fighting our own battles, and maintaining a healthy mind should be a priority for all of us. The first reason why I want all of you to take care of your minds is because if you don't, there's just no possible way that you'll be able to live the vibrant, laughter-filled, and thrilling lives that you all deserve. I think that one of the main barriers in today's society that prevent us from living our lives in this way is all of the juicy distractions that come along with social media. I mean, come on, we could spend hours upon end scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I think that these apps and websites really prevent us from, realizing what's really going on in our lives and sort of allow us to escape from our reality. We create these sort of like perfectly curated profiles of ourselves that sort of act as a highlight reel for all of the greatest things that are going on in our lives, to the point where I feel like we lose sight of the really important things that we're dealing with. A woman named Maria Konnikova from The New Yorker said in 2013 that platforms like Facebook are causing us to feel more lonely and alienated and just overall disconnected from the social world. And I think this is really ironic because a lot of people seem to have the notion that social media is this great powerful agent that allows us to socially connect all across the world. But in reality, I think it's allowing us to sort of lose track of who we are. We're sort of able to sit behind a screen and create these virtual, idealistic versions of ourselves that I don't think we really know who we are anymore. And this issue is so important to me, and I'm so passionate about it because I think by disassociating ourselves from our realities, we're sort of building all of this mental and emotional, unnecessary junk in our minds that's sort of just making us feel more depressed and lonely and just affecting our social relationships. A really unhealthy way to live our lives. The second reason why I want all of you to be proactive about maintaining a healthy mental hygiene, is because at night when you get in bed and you put your head on your pillow and it's just you and your private thoughts, at the end of the day, it's still going to be just you. And I think that it's really important that when it is just you, you feel happy about yourself and you feel good about the way that you feel. I know that when I was a sophomore in high school, I was sort of going through a tough time, and I would often be afraid to be alone with my own thoughts because I was battling sort of a darkness inside of me, and it was really hard to deal with that. I had just found out that I had this skin disorder called vitiligo, which is what Michael Jackson had, and it literally seemed like one day I woke up and I had this white patch on the left side of my face, and then days went on, weeks went on, and it started to grow, and all of a sudden I had this huge white patch on my face. And as a 14-year-old girl in high school, this was the end of the world, Obviously now I realize how trivial and cosmetic the problem was, and obviously if I hadn't responded to treatment so well, it still wouldn't have been the end of the world. But at the time I really started to shut down and feel lonely and really isolate myself from my friends. I think that the worst part was that I didn't want people to know that it was affecting me the way it was. So I sort of started to bottle up all of my emotions and keep everything inside. I stopped sleeping, I stopped eating, and I just felt very alone, and I was just having a really difficult time dealing with it. But this whole experience made me realize that when we're going through these issues, it's best to acknowledge that we have a problem instead of trying to hide it from people, to work your way through, talk it out, and we'll be able to maintain a much healthier mind. Now I'll give you 3 actions that you can take in order to maintain a healthy mind. The first action you can take is learning to value yourself. And I think I sort of came up with a new golden rule, and that's treat yourself the way that you want to be treated. And it seems pretty obvious, like obviously we're going to treat ourselves the way we want to treat ourselves, but I don't think we treat ourselves with the respect and kindness that we deserve. Because if we did, we'd go out and do all of the things that we love to do and pick up new hobbies and really treat ourselves the way we should be treated. So I think by, making this slight attitude change can really improve our outlook on life and judgment. The second action you can take is learning to not sweat the small stuff. My mom used to tell me, don't cry over spilt milk, and I think I really took this to heart. I think we can all be very self-critical, and by learning to just let things go, we'll be a lot better off. The third action you can take is going outside and getting more fresh air. And I can't stress this one enough. I think it's so important to disconnect, put distractions aside, go outside, take a walk, go on a run, or just sit outside and bring some relaxation into your day. I can guarantee that by performing these actions, you will feel not only more relaxed and happy, but more confident in who you are and how you feel about yourself. In summary, I have shown you 2 reasons and 3 actions that you can take, along with some benefits that will follow if you decide to take care of your mind. There should be no doubt in this room that treating your mind with tender, loving care is really the only way to make the most out of every single day of your life. Once again, as Siddhartha Gautama said, when the mind is pure, joy will follow like a shadow that never leaves. And I know all of you in this room want a little shadow of joy following you around for the rest of your life. So if you take the steps to improve your mental hygiene, I think we'll all be able to lead healthier, happier, and joyful lives. Thank you.
Thank you. 716.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hi, Julia.
I really like your second point in saying that, like, throughout our entire life, we're always going to be alone with our thoughts, and no one else will ever hear them. It sounds obvious, but that's actually something that I think is kind of deep, and I'm glad you addressed that. And I also think just you, like, never stumble and are very, like, composed, and I think that's really awesome. So,
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shelby.
Hi, Shelby.
I really liked your speech too. I could tell you were really passionate about it. It was a really actually interesting topic because it's something that we never really talk about, mental health. I guess I don't really know. I wasn't really thinking about improvements the whole time. I just really liked it. But I guess the only thing would be I really liked the stories you were telling, the personal stories. It really helped relate. So I guess if you would have told like one more personal story, like kind of relating to the first thing, like Facebook, it would be better. But overall, I don't think we need much improvement.
Okay. Thank you, Shelby. Tess, yeah, you chose off the path topic, which was good. I like the creativity of that. You chose a quote from Siddhartha, and that was good. And it was heavy. I would have slowed down a little so people could grok the meaning. You know, it was heavy enough that it takes a little, you gotta let the meaning of it sink in. So my criticism is the quote was just a little quick.
Yeah,
So.
I was so nervous about the timing, and I feel like from the beginning I was like, gotta get to it. So
Yeah. Well, I would have edited elsewhere and taken the time on the quote because it worked nicely. Second overarching comment related to stickiness. The danger of this speech has to do with the concreteness versus the abstractness, because this is bordering on pretty abstract and pretty obscure, but you made it fairly concrete, which was pretty good. So that was good, and you made it pretty simple when you got down to your actions, so that helped clear it up. On your first reason, I thought that was good. Your quote from the New Yorker, one of my favorite magazines, was good, and I think she's right. I think there is an alienation that's occurring, even though people I think it's a pseudo kind of connection. I think that people think they're more connected when they have all these friends and all this stuff. But I think it's kind of superficial and phony in a way. And people are discovering this. So I thought that was good. And you had the date. Bless your heart. Thank you. The second reason of being proactive about your mental hygiene, as was suggested over here, it was a good image of you're alone with your thoughts, you lie down on the pillow, this is all you have, and you need to come to grips with that of who you are and not blow smoke up your own nostrils, so to speak. So that was good. On your, I would have, I liked your story there of your skin disease and how it went crazy on you. So you had some good personal stories for support there. So that was fine. Your actions, I think that the valuing yourself could have had a little more specificity to it if you had a little more time. You really used your time completely, and but I think we all got the idea of what you were getting at. And don't sweat the small stuff was good, so that was good. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. You said move with purpose, try to be more extemporaneous, and vary your pace. How'd it go?
I moved with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to vary my speech a little bit, but I think I was concerned with time.
Yeah.
And I planned to slow down on certain points.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, and the solution to that is editing ahead of time and cutting down on your story a little bit so that you got more out of it, and maybe get through your setup a little quicker at the top after you take a slow amount of time to do your quote would have worked. So you did a nice job. Thank you. Thank you for waiting respectfully outside. Okay, that will bring us to Roberto. Is there a Roberto in here? That will bring us to Malika. Malika? No Malika?
Malika's struggling.
Hey Malika. How you doing?
You don't even have to worry about purposeful movement.
She's managing attention. He's writing. She's writing. Communicating respect non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes in the front and center. Saying they feel love. Steady speech.
Hi, my name is Malika.
I'm Malika.
Hi. Put down your phones, turn down the displays, and take in your surroundings and make the most of today. This is a quote from one of my favorite slam poems, Look Up, by Gary Turk. It's available on YouTube, and I really recommend it to everyone. Too often, people are distracted by social media, and they tune out the world around them. I think in class we have a no phone and no laptop policy, and I love that rule because I think it really gives us a chance to listen to one another and take in what each one is saying. I think today I'm going to try to persuade each one of you to put away your social media and live life the real way. I'm going to share with you 2 stories, 3 actions, and several benefits that will follow if you adopt my proposal. Very often, one of the first things we do when we wake up is we reach for our phones and we check what we missed the previous night on our social medias. And what happens is sometimes we might miss a beautiful sunrise outside. Now, I'm not suggesting that we wake up at the crack of dawn, I certainly don't. But these metaphorical sunrises of mine represent things that we miss when we tune out the real world and concentrate on this virtual one that's created by all our social networks. So this is a problem that's especially prevalent in our generation, so I'm sure all of you will be very interested in what I have to say today. The first reason that I encourage you to to put aside your social media and to live life the real way is so that you experience all of life. I think it's very easy to kind of get lost in all this that's going on there. I think at this point the interwebs have more activity sometimes than our real world seem to, and we forget the complex and real scenarios and people in our worlds. This world that we call social is anything but when we open our computer screens and it is our doors that we shut. Also Gary Turk, I'm a big fan. I think that, so I myself have used, I'm not saying that social media is bad. I myself use Facebook and FaceTime and all those lovely different medias to connect with my friends and family back home in India. But the reason I do this is because I really have no other choice. There is no other way for me to connect with these people who are all the way across the Pacific. What I am opposed to is neglecting human real-world interactions in favor of virtual ones. And I believe that sometimes these distractions get in the way of us connecting with one another. So the first reason that I encourage you to put down your phone, put down your media, is so that you can connect with the people around you. In June 2012, Bill Keller from the New York Times stated that these innovations, while great in the number of menus and operations they offer us, are not a happiness machine. And I have to agree, because all these sites, Facebook, etc., and Instagram, while they allow us to store and share our memories, they are not where we create them. And so take time to go out and create memories with your friends. Ask them about their day in person instead of reading about it in a post somewhere. The second reason I encourage you to put aside social media is so that you can, because I found that too often people value virtual relationships instead of human real-world ones. Who has heard or used Tinder? It's okay if you don't want to put your hands up. I understand. But in 2013, Tinder user Anne Ryan told the New Yorker that the way she described it is she said, you don't need a profile, you don't need to put in information, you just need to like the way a person looks. And because of this, a lot of people have said that the application is superficial in the way it functions. But if you look at the numbers, it works. People want to use their online identities to as social interactions instead of risking potential embarrassment by chatting up a stranger at a coffee house or a bar. I think that what happens because of that is that people just forget to make that connection with one another, and they just miss out on all the great things in life. So I propose 3 actions that we can take to really set aside media and live life the real way. The first is a dare. I dare each and every one of you to put down your social media, go out into the world and see what it's like without all these distractions. Finals coming up, it may benefit you in more than one way. The second action is to create a memory jar. For a period of time, a year, a month, a week, write down memories and put them into a jar. At the end of this time, you can read these memories and you can see what life has to offer if you really open yourself up to it. The third is make a list of all the things that terrify you. Think of them, put them all down on the list, and go out and do them all. And don't do it because skydiving makes for a great Kodak moment, but do it because the things that scare us the most are often the most rewarding. The past year or so at college, I myself have undertaken all these actions. Third one is still a work in progress, but I've never been this exhilarated or felt more proactive in my life. I'm not just waiting for life to happen, but I'm pushing limits, testing boundaries, and really seeing what I'm made of. All along, I'm trying to figure out what it is that I love to do, and these things help me do it. The biggest benefit for me is realizing that life is beautiful and it's messy in a way that can be captured with pictures or hashtags. So don't forget to go out and experience it. Give people your love, not just likes. So to summarize, I shared with you 2 stories, 3 actions, and several benefits that will follow if you decide to set aside social media and really experience life as it's meant to be. So look up, put down your phones, turn down those displays. We have a finite existence, so live life the real way. Thank you.
7:08. We're somewhere over here. Hi, Christine.
I really like the way that you started with like that poetry in the beginning and you like ended it at the end. I thought it was like very, it drew it all together, and I thought you talked on a really like relevant subject for all of us, and I think it engaged us. So thank you.
Improvement.
Hi, I'm Arzu.
Hi, Arzu.
And some improvements that I think you could consider making is, I think at the beginning, the stumble is what caused the rest of your speech to not go as planned, because you started talking a little bit in circles, which caused you to go over time, which I'm sure it's like nervousness or maybe not like fully knowing what you wanted to say. Otherwise, you forgot the purposeful movement. You remembered it near the end, so yeah.
Okay, thank you, Arzu. Yeah, let's talk about you know your first impression. You want to practice your beginnings a lot, so you make that great first impression, and it's solid. And I guess you can't do anything about the cough and that sort of thing, but what you wrote here was a good idea for starting out a speech. So. Your significant statement about people waking up and the first thing they do is grab their phone and check to see what they've missed and that sort of thing was probably telling and good and related to the audience probably fairly well. On your first reason, a little abstract experience all that you can in life, and you used a personal story of you keeping in touch with your family and friends in India. And so you admitted that you use it, but you then quoted Bill Keller in 2012 in the New York Times saying that it's not a happiness machine. And so you had a good contrast going there between your story and your quote, so that was good. Your second reason, you quoted and you used Tinder as an example. This Anne Ryan quote in 2013 kind of got buried a little bit, but your point was to go out. You're missing the coffee house experience or the personal direct experience and that sort of thing. Your actions were pretty radical. Turn it off, have a memory jar, and do things that scare you. So those were, I don't know how many people are going to do those, but they were provocative, I'll say that. On the benefits, where I think you really went a little awry was, remember the benefits on a persuasive speech are to the audience, and you more gave the benefits to yourself. You said they really benefited me, and we could infer if they benefited you, they'd benefit us too. But you want it to more sell it to the audience that if you do these things, you'll get the same benefits that I got. So your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. Let's see what your goals were. Did you have a bibliography somewhere here?
Yeah.
You have the first page down here. There's just okay. Word economy. Don't get flustered if you forget a point. Space out the movement to last the whole speech rather than the first half. How'd it go?
It didn't. I got really flustered after I coughed, and I think I kind of forgot my whole speech at that point.
Yeah.
And then everything I did was kind of like, I don't really know what I said. I'd have to watch it to remember.
Okay, well, that's why we have good old YouTube.
Yeah, and I think I forgot to move because I got thrown.
Right.
So everything I practiced kind of like flew out the window at that point.
Right.
So.
You got through it, though, and so you were a trooper, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to Trenton.
With the articles, do you want the entire article or just the first page?
But if you have the whole article, you can give it to me.
Oh.
Oh, it's thick, huh?
A little bit. They printed out on more pages right now.
You don't have a typewriter, huh?
Oh.
For your outline. That's no big deal. Okay, stands before you managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and center, so you can feel the love that stays.
I'm Trenton.
Hi, Trenton.
Okay. When it comes to relaxing, I don't know about you, but I like to go on the internet. You know, maybe check out Facebook, see what the peeps are up to, go on Tumblr, reblog a few things. But Netflix is like perfection. You know, you just find your favorite show, click on it, press play, wait for it to load, and then wait for it to load. 5 minutes later, you're still waiting for it to load. Now, what's wrong here? It seems like, for some reason, the internet's not working, and I'm going to tell you why. Today, I want to persuade you to support net neutrality. Now, to define net neutrality, as by Sam Gustin in Time magazine on May 16th, 2014, it is the concept that the internet is an open and free space that should be without interference from like big internet service providers or ISPs. So the reason why this should interest all of you is because the internet is a source of information for all of us. It's a place of growth, and it's a huge thing in our society. And we shouldn't let big companies control it. Now, I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you should support this, and 3 actions that will also benefit you. Now, my first reason is that you should, for supporting internet neutrality, is because if the companies have control, then they will be capable of censoring everything on the internet. Now, think of your favorite websites right now. YouTube, maybe Facebook or Twitter. All of these are used to exchange information. Now, sometimes this includes political information, things that could even be considered radical. Now, who's to consider it that, though? So, one of the big issues is, as cited by the American Civil Liberties Union, is the fact that these internet companies can censor and they can block these websites. Back in late 2007, Verizon Wireless was actually found to have gone to a website that was very pro-choice, and they were a political group, and they blocked all information going out of that. They blocked all messages, and their reasoning for it was because they were too controversial. Now, the fact that they had say over what's controversial, and the fact that they could block it scares me. Because who's to say what else they won't find controversial? This type of censorship that they are capable of is reminiscent of 1984, of Fahrenheit 451. And who's to say our society won't become like that if internet neutrality fails? Now, my second reason for you to support internet neutrality is because of all the growth and the technological innovations that have come because of the internet. Since the birth of the internet, there's been so much change in our society. Things such as like online shopping, social media, and streaming of entertainment have become so ingrained in our society that it's like part of our slang. It's just there. If net neutrality ends, a lot of this can change. Back to Sam Gustin in his article in Time magazine, he said that since the birth of the internet, new internet companies have come around and they've contributed billions of dollars each year to the economy. Because these companies start out small, they don't really have much money, and it's like the big internet companies have said that if they were to become in charge, they would start charging websites enormous fees to like just be visible, to be seen by everyone here. Just with that, all these companies, then the small ones, would not be able to grow. They would not be able to flourish, and we could lose our potential next Facebook, our next Twitter. Okay. Now I want to give you 3 actions that you can take to support net neutrality. First of all, I want you to sign the petition. If you go to battleforthenet.com, there's a petition right now that's going to Congress and the government and the FCC, and it's there for you to share your opinion and tell them that we don't want big internet companies to take over our internet. We want that. We want the freedom. Second of all, I want you to share it. It's so easy just to go on Twitter and retweet something, go to Tumblr, reblog something, go to Facebook and just share something. Getting information out and telling your friends is one of the best things you can do because it provides information for people to learn and for more people to support net neutrality. Third, I want you to not forget about it. This isn't Coney 2012, okay? This thing is going to be an issue for a long time, and we have to keep on remembering, because the minute we forget, the minute it becomes less relevant, is the minute that the ISPs win. Now, once you've done these actions, I think that you're going to feel accomplished. You're going to feel like you've done something, because you're helping protect the internet for future generations. You know, if ISPs win and if net neutrality falls, I don't think it's possible for the internet to go back to how it was. In summary, I've shared with you 2 reasons and 3 actions that you can take to support net neutrality. There should be no doubt in this room that an open internet is beneficial to this society. We can't let it be censored. We can't let it be controlled. Now, back to Netflix. You know, you're sitting down, you're watching it, it's finally loading. And the only reason why it could lag is because maybe your cheap internet that you pay for on a college budget, and not those big bad internet companies.
Thank you. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside. Well, that's a horrible place for that scooter. Why don't you turn it this way? Yeah. Is that your scooter?
That's mine.
Yeah, it's a bad place for it. All right, where are we? Somewhere over here. Yes, please.
I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
I thought your intro did a really good job of grabbing our attention with the Netflix story. It's funny. And I liked your topic. I thought it was really relevant.
Okay, improvement.
Hi. I'm Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
That's good. You're like a really likable speaker. I think like we want to listen to you. You always start with like a really funny intro, which I like. I guess sometimes it seems like maybe you're looking for like a certain word that you wrote or like you really want to say, and then it just causes you to like pause. So I guess the other thing would just be like to look for a little bit more natural flow, and like maybe you don't always get the right word, but that's like and if you speak from your like type speech, that's like also okay. But it was really good.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Well, let's talk about your speech, Trenton. You chose one that is pretty obscure and abstract, net neutrality. It's kind of almost a foreign concept to your audience, so it required some work to define it and to get people up to speed on it. So you started with a practical example with Netflix, which I thought was good in helping people come on board and see what was at stake with this. So that was good. And your setup was fine. I liked that you quoted the Time magazine date, so that was fine. Your first reason for supporting net neutrality was the question of censorship, and no one likes that. And frankly, there's an there's an even greater risk to censorship if there's another little sub-issue of America taking away its control of part of the internet and turning it over to international bodies, which so far we have resisted countries' efforts to censor, but if we let internationals control it, there's going to be a lot more censorship, so that's a dangerous thing too. Your second reason, I mentioned here I'd like to see you move earlier and move 3 times to loosen up a little bit more. You were a little tight up there, so relax a little bit more, smile more. I think that the idea of a few companies controlling it is a dangerous thing and is going to not be good for the overall consumer. It's going to make only the wealthiest be able to have access to the quickest stuff and not be desirable. As far as people signing a petition, I think you needed to be real specific, maybe even put the place to go on the board, to where to sign it or something. Don't do it now. Talk to people and that sort of thing. But those were concrete actions that were good. And then you had the benefits that it's benefits to individuals and it's beneficial to society. So I thought that was good. And then you tied back to to your story about Netflix. You said you wanted to have a stronger start, reduce something of vocalized pauses, and try not to look up to the ceiling. How'd it go?
I think, what was my first one again?
Stronger start.
I think I definitely had a stronger start this time, but I lost a little momentum when I moved on to my reasons and after I did the definitions, so I needed to fix that or work on it a little bit more.
Keep the momentum going, the energy up and going, What did you have unexpected in this speech that would have either grabbed attention or helped hold it?
Well, I think it was the topic itself.
Okay.
Because, I haven't really heard too much about it.
No.
I was looking at, a lot of, topics, online, persuasive topics, because I was kind of, drawing a blank. And I remembered seeing this a while back, and I thought, we should definitely bring this back. And then I did my research, and I found all this information on it. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, no. Okay. That's
as good as any. I say that the best ones are the ones that you can find and that you have a passion for, that you can present and bring in some emotions in. How were your emotions in this? Because that's one of the other sticky elements that will make the speech stick. How were you planning to make this an emotional? Don't take away my
Netflix.
My Netflix, or name some real popular show. What's the latest popular show on Netflix? Say the name of it and say, and like that. And so, oh no, I can't lose that. Okay. Otherwise, you did a nice job today. Thank you. Your time was 6:24.
Thank you.
So I have a roll sheet.
Yeah.
Can you have it?
No, but also.
Yeah, you can have it.
You have it?
No. Okay, that will bring us to who's next? That was Trenton. That will bring us to Shabby. On deck, Julia.
Oh yeah, I accidentally stapled the second page on backwards, so this is the rest of it, and then this is the bibliography.
What a tragedy.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tragedy. Here, I'll rip it apart.
Oh, perfect.
She stands before you managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. They're talking. She's texting. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shabby.
Hi, Shabby.
All right. 121 billion minutes. Take a second, wrap your mind around it. I know it's a big number. This is the amount of time that the United States spent on social media in just July of 2012 alone. If you average it out, that's about 6.5 hours per month if everybody used social media. Altogether, it comes out to be around 230,060 years worth of social media. We spent 230,060 years on social media in 1 month. And that's just in the United States. Now, the CNBC article that I got this from is written by Helen Helen P. And it was written in July of 2012. So you can only imagine how the numbers have grown since then with the introduction of even more social media platforms. Today, I am here to persuade you to lessen your use of social media. I will present you with 2 reasons and 3 actions you can take to achieve this, as well as some benefits that you will experience if you do so. Now, of course, this should be important to all of us because as a generation, I think we use social media a bit excessively, and it's almost like an addiction for us. I'm not saying we need to stop cold turkey. That's impossible in the world we live in, but we need to have a healthy balance of it in our lives. So the first reason I'll give you for lessening the role of social media in your daily lives is because if we use it too much, it is such a time suck, guys. Like, you will be on it for hours. Obviously, I already cited some facts from the CNBC article that kind of proved my point, but I'll also include a personal story to help demonstrate it too. And that was this past summer, I decided to go 1 week without any social media. Now, I'm not an extremely avid social media user. I have like my Facebook, my Twitter, BuzzFeed, YouTube, etc. But I know some people who have a lot more, so I promise it's not that bad. And so I thought, no problem. I can go 1 week. It's summer. I have plenty of other things I could be doing. I can go outside, have fun, see my friends, catch up. I can do 1 week easy, no problem. At first, I could not have been more wrong. I would wake up in the morning, reach for my phone, not reach for my phone, backtrack. And I just realized that my first instinct, whenever I was even slightly bored, was to look for my phone, look for my laptop, try to scroll through BuzzFeed articles or my Facebook news feed. It was like I could not just sit still and not be looking at something. It was impossible for me. And what I ended up realizing was I felt really disconnected from everybody, and I felt like my boredom was just like multiplied. But after a few days, I realized about how much more time I had on my hands. I was able to go to work most of the day, come back, help out with chores, make dinner, work out, read for pleasure, watch TV, do all the things I wanted to do and still get enough sleep. And that feeling was amazing. It was great. I definitely recommend it to everybody. Now, I'm back on all my accounts now, but I'm a lot more cognizant of the time I spend on there. So I really, really try to cap myself at 2 hours a day. It's difficult, but I try. And when I think about this, I feel really motivated because I remember how much time I had on my hands, and I want that back. And I want that for all my friends who always struggle with being able to finish everything on time because they run out of time on social media. The second reason I'm going to give you for lessening your use of social media is that it takes a toll on your self-confidence. According to an article by Jay Henderson on Forbes.com that was written in December 2012, cited a study that had come out in the UK that same year, and that study stated that over 50% of social media users categorize their social media use as having an overall negative effect on their lives. And the article said that the main reason for this was that you are always constantly comparing yourself to all your friends and people you know on sites like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Like, I know personally myself, when I'm scrolling through my Facebook and I saw someone got engaged, I mean, like, along with the automatic eye roll that I do, it's like also like, why isn't my life as exciting as theirs? Or someone took a picture with Channing Tatum on the red carpet, or someone got to go study abroad, and I'm like, why am I sitting in my room doing nothing? And it's really hard on you to have that constant barrage of like all of the things you could be doing thrown at you. It takes its toll. I feel really saddened by this, honestly, because the original purpose for social media was to bring people together and celebrate your accomplishments, and because we use it too much now, it's having adverse effects. So 3 concrete actions you can take to help lessen the role of social media in your lives is 1, just set a cap like I did. I know it may seem daunting, but honestly, if you just start the cap off a little bit bigger and then shrink it slowly over the course of time, it's really manageable to do. 2nd, when you're hanging out with your friends, don't take out your phones. If you're all coming together to hang out anyway, what's the point of taking out your phones? If you're going to just take out your phone, just be by yourself. And honestly, you should, it will make them feel better too, because it'll really make them feel like you're actually listening to what they're saying. The 3rd action you can take is when you're sitting in class. Don't go on your laptop and scroll through Facebook. Don't go on your phone and do it. Actually pay attention to what the professor is saying. It'll make them want to teach more because they feel like they're being appreciated. And it will make you a lot smarter because you will actually absorb the information that you're supposed to be absorbing. I can promise you that if you do these actions, you will feel great because your relationship with your friends will be better. You will feel smarter because you'll probably start doing better on tests because you're actually learning the material. And you'll feel less stressed because you'll have more time in the day to do what you need to do by setting that cap for yourself. In summary, I have given you 2 reasons why you should lessen the role of social media in your lives, and 3 actions you can take to do so, and some benefits that will accompany those actions. There should be no doubt in this room that social media's impact in your life needs to be lessened. I think it will have not only a positive effect on your life, but also on the lives of all of those around you. So maybe in July 2015, when another study comes out, it will be a little less than 230,060 years that we spent on Facebook. Thank you.
Seven 16.
Hi, I'm Tess.
Hi, Tess.
You're very personable, and I feel like you're really like talking to us. I don't know. You're just really like, I don't know how to explain it. You're a great speaker. So like when you were explaining all of your points, it was very easy to listen and connect with you. And I think your whole format was really well thought out. It was really easy to follow each of your points, and I especially think your actions are clear. And good job.
Thank you, Tess.
Thank you.
Improvement.
Hi, I'm Malika.
Hi, Malika.
Well, that's the speech I wanted to give. It was really great. I really liked it. I think your topic choice was great.
Yeah.
But I don't really know criticism, but I think you did a really good job. You were I get what Tess was saying too, because it really feels like you're talking to each of us individually, even though you're talking to the room at large, which I think is a really impressive feat for like any communicator. If I had to give a criticism, it would probably be that I know you moved around the room, and this is really hard to do. I don't manage it also, but when we face one side of the room, we tend to talk to that side of the room, and then like not really like oscillate between the other sides. So I'd say maybe work on that, but you did a really good job. Like,
Okay. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, it's when you're looking this way, glance over there and then back, and then they don't feel cheated, and you love all your children equally. You started with an arresting fact, and it was quite arresting. Then you dramatized it, and you ended with it, and you said it was going to get even bigger. So that was a great way to start. And it was it was a large number. And when you think of all the good time that's been wasted having a good time, on the internet, you think of the languages that could have been learned or the books that could have been read, but, that's a different value system. But, yeah, it was a tremendously impressive opening and a good figure there. You were arguing for a more healthy balance for your audience and their lives when it came to internet use. I guess these are your friends, so you refer to them as you guys, and I suppose that's appropriate and that's fine. Your personal story was sort of cute and nice, and you admitted that you have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and BuzzFeed, so that was an interesting sort of walking contradiction, but you did tell us how difficult it was, and so that was good, and then you gave us an after that you were back but more balanced, and so that was good. Your second reason from your Forbes magazine, people saying that they really feel in some ways that it had a negative effect on their lives. And I like the way, I want you all to notice one thing that was done very effectively by Shabby was she put that ending, the emotion in at the end of each thing, and I feel, and she said, I feel really saddened by this and this issue and the way people are misusing the media. So you got your emotion in, and that was good. Your concrete actions were fine and consistent. Your benefits were well sketched, so that was well done, and then your summary tieback were fine. You said don't forget the fourth part, which was the benefits, which a couple people already have, and they lost points for that. Give more eye contact to the whole room and slow down. How'd it go?
I definitely didn't forget the fourth part. I struggled with eye contact. I realized, when I caught myself looking this way, I was like, oh, wait, no. And then I would, and then I got that. But, so I definitely still need to work on that. But I think I definitely slowed down, because when I practiced it initially, it was 5.5 minutes. So I managed to get it to, right on the time. So
Yeah, so that was good. What was unexpected in this? Did you design anything unexpected in this that would grab us in the middle or at the end or at the beginning or anything?
I mean, the whole intro, with all the facts. Because
the intro, the resting fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you had the emotions in there pretty nicely, and the storytelling was good in it that helped make it sticky. So it was a pretty sticky, persuasive speech. Thank you. Anybody have a stapler? I have a paper clip. I'll use that. A stapler, yay! Thank you. Oh, it's red. It's hard to lose, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty small, so.
It's out of staples. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, and then on deck will be Nicole. Is Nicole in the house?
Yes, right here.
Perfect. Ooh, okay, we're on borrowed time, so make haste while the battery is good.
Hey, can I go?
Yeah, thank you. He's reading or something. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia.
Hi, Julia.
Okay, so I want you all to take a second to think about a moment in your life where you were the happiest you've ever been. And if you can't pick a single moment, then think about all the experiences that are so important to you, you feel they are absolutely irreplaceable. After doing this, eventually you'll realize that experiences make life meaningful. The fleeting moments that we spend with our siblings, our friends, our family, going to concerts, going on vacation, and doing the things we love, in retrospect, will be the most meaningful things of our entire lives. Now, with this being true, the question I ask you is this. If experiences have the potential of creating an amazing memory, then why are we always so much more inclined to spend our money on material things? Today, I want to persuade you to always invest in experiences over material things. I will give you 2 reasons and actions that will follow if you adopt my proposal. I know this is relevant to all of you because with the holiday seasons of giving right around the corner, it will be really tempting to just buy a lot of stuff. But my job is to persuade you to invest in experiences because in the long run, it will prove to be much more worthwhile. The first reason why you should invest in experiences over material things is because there is research that shows that experiences make people happier. According to a study done in 2011 by the Journal of Consumer Psychology, 1,000 Americans were sampled and asked to think about both an experiential purchase and a material purchase they made with the intentions of increasing their own happiness. The results found that 57% of the respondents said the experiential purchase derived more happiness, while only 34% said that the material purchase derived more happiness. Now, if it's evident that experiential purchases make us happier, it's important to examine why that is. The first reason is we adapt to our physical surroundings. Everything we buy, over time, we get bored with it because we get used to it. Author Andrew Blackman of the Wall Street Journal stated in his November 2014 article, "Can money really buy happiness? A fancy dress and a new car provide a brief thrill, but over time we will come to take those things for granted." The second reason why experiences provide more happiness is because we think about them and we reflect on them more often than we do material things. And the third reason is experiences are personal because they show us our interests, our capabilities, and what we love to do. A personal experience that I have that shows the happiness that can come from experiences is when I visited France when I was 8 years old with my family. The trip was impossible to adapt to. Every single day I did something different. One day I tried escargot, which is snails, and the other day I watched freelance artists draw the shores on Giverong, and the first time I saw the Eiffel Tower, I was absolutely astounded. The unpredictable nature of the trip made it so exciting, and there was never a dull moment. In addition, according to the Associate Professor of Marketing at Harvard University and co-author of the book, Happy Spending, The Science of Smarter Spending, in 2013, he stated that the reason why experiences make us happier is because material things over time get worse and worse and eventually fade away and break, but experiences, our brain processes them as getting better and better. As I grow older, every time I think about my trip to France, it just becomes more special and sacred in my mind. Now keep in mind, this happened 11 years ago, and I can still vividly remember the details, and it still defines who I am, because I really appreciate other cultures. If you asked me to go more in depth, I could. But if you asked me what I got for Christmas last year and what I wanted, I honestly couldn't tell you, because over time, the reality of the matter is the things we have lose value. We stop caring about them because usually we don't have an emotional connection with them. The second reason why you should invest in experiences over material things is because generally experiences are shared with other people, and other people are our greatest source of happiness. According to a study done in 2002 by the Scientific Journal of Psychological Science, 222 undergraduates from the University of Illinois were sampled and asked to participate in a year-long study of happiness. They were asked to rate their happiness 3 times throughout the semester on a scale of 1 to 35. 1 being not satisfied at all, and 35 being extremely satisfied. The very happy people had an average score of 30, and the distinct difference between the very happy people and the very unhappy people was the happy people had satisfying and fulsome interpersonal relationships. This past summer, my best friend won tickets to the Coldplay concert through listening on the radio, and she invited me to go with her. And I had so much fun, not because Coldplay is a Grammy-winning band or because they're really great, because even at the time when I went, I didn't even think they were that good, but after I thought they were really good. But I just realized that because I was with my 2 best friends, that's why the experience was so meaningful. I feel there is an indescribable feeling of intimacy and connectedness that comes from doing things you love with the people you love, and an experience over a material purchase, which is usually made with selfish intentions just for yourself, cannot recreate this feeling of intimacy. Now I will give you 3 concrete actions you can do in order to prioritize investing in experiences over material things. The first thing you can do is think in the long term rather than the short term. I know material things bring instant gratification, and experiences can seem kind of sketch because you have to wait a few weeks until they happen, but you just have to trust yourself in knowing that the experience in the moment will be much more worthwhile. The second thing you can do is pretty easy. When you're buying things for yourself or other people, invest in things like concert tickets, Disneyland passes, or movie passes, instead of always resorting to buying clothes or new types of technology or things like that. The third thing you can do is just spend more time with the people you love, because you'll realize how much fun you're having and you'll want to invest in experiences. And we've all been through this. We don't want to go to Coachella alone because it's definitely not as fun, and we want to share things amazing with people we love because it amplifies the time that we have. When you do these things, I really do feel that you will live a happier life and you will create memories that are yours and only yours that no one can take away from you. In summary, I've given you 2 reasons why you should invest in experiences over material things, and actions and benefits that will follow if you adopt my proposal. For the past 4 years in high school, my mother during Christmas gave me the option of either going to visit my sister in New York or actually opening presents on Christmas Day. And to my shameful regret, 2 out of those 4 years, I chose presents. And looking back, I really shouldn't have. Because when we're faced with dilemmas like this, we have to think about, in 50 years, what are we going to look back on our life and remember and reflect on our life experience and remember the things we love. It's not going to be material things, but it will be experiences. Because experiences you can hold close to your heart, while material things will end up in the garbage.
704.
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria.
I thought your speech was really great. I thought you did such a good job. It was such a good topic, and I like how you elaborated and gave such good examples.
Yeah.
You're a really good speaker, too.
Improvement.
Hi, I'm Trenton.
Hi, Trenton.
Okay. I really liked your speech, too. You're very personal, and like the way you talk, it just flows really well. I guess I do feel that sometimes you talk really fast, though, and you sometimes slow your words. And then you typically, I do it too, but when you end your sentences, you will often like look down, then look up, and then you'll look back at everyone else. And I guess like when we're trying to make eye contact as like the audience, it's a little bit distracting because we're like, oh, what should we have done there? Oh, what's up there?
Okay, those are good things to consider. Julia, I liked your speech. It was nearly a model speech. Did you notice that she didn't do just the minimum research, but she had about 4 or 5 or 10 articles and sites and quotes, okay, 5 or 6. And she had a lot of credibility, a lot of arguments from authority mixed with personal examples. And that really worked. So the overarching impression I want you all to notice is those arguments from authority mixed with the personal stories worked very well. Now, you talked about money can't buy happiness, and I was intrigued by the way you worded your... I was thinking it was going to be a little abstract and not concrete enough, this experiential thing. But it seemed you explained it fairly well, so it did work out. And I think everyone got it, ultimately, and so that was good. Your evidence, which you nicely cited the dates every time, so we know you had recent research and good research from journals and that sort of thing, really confirmed your thesis about the experiential versus the, getting the trinkets and the things was really compelling. And then your story about being in Paris and being at Notre Dame and the Eiffel Tower and so forth was all good. I like the. I just liked all the evidence that you cited there too. It was very good. I read the Wall Street Journal every morning, so I had seen that article, and it was. I sent it to a friend of mine who's very materialistic, and I said, "See, think about this, my friend." So that was good. I loved your story about going and seeing what you thought was a mediocre band of Coldplay and discovering that it was that because you were with your friends, it was a great experience, and so that was good. Yeah, your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all good. I like the way you ended with the fact that you didn't always choose to be experiential. That you're human, and you chose the material a couple times over going to visit your sister in New York. So that was good. But you had, and the other thing I want to say about your delivery was you had a great passion that you delivered your speech in. So this was a very sticky speech. Now, what did you put in here that was unexpected?
I don't know. I can't recall anything. I guess it was in the back of my mind when I was writing it, but I didn't intentionally.
Yeah. I'm emphasizing it because I want everybody, as you're designing speeches, to at some point, as an artist, to put in that unexpected, to grab or to hold attention, right? I think you had the simple message down to its core. I was a little worried that it was not concrete enough the way you phrased it, but it worked out. So that was good. Your credibility was extremely high with all the citations you gave.